Want to say good morning to you. Thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of WNCR-TV Now. We talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation this morning. Hope all is well as we continue to talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation right here on WNCR-TV, WAJA 102.5 FM. It looks like I come on later and later every single day. I don't know what in the world I be doing, but nevertheless, I am yet here. 25 minutes past 8 o'clock hour on this last day of April the 30th. Can you believe it? Of course, former Congressman G.K. Butterfield celebrated a birthday on April 28th, so happy belated birthday to him. All those who are celebrating birthdays, anniversaries, and good stuff like that, happy anniversary, happy birthday to each and every one of you. Oh, let me share this real quick. We talked about that yesterday. It is the Keyshawn Silver's Big Country football camp going to happen on May the 3rd, 2025, from 10 until 2. I think it's that registration from 10 to 11. And so camp basis from 11 to 2, but be registered. It's going to be at the Rocky Mount Sports Complex, 800 Independence Drive in Rocky Mount. So it's the second annual Big Country football camp right here in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. You know what I said I was going to do, and I did not do it, and that is I was going to talk about the number of people who left Rocky Mount and came back that was in my generation. I guess, did I say that? That's what I was thinking in my head. Maybe I didn't say it. So, but nevertheless, I did not get an opportunity to really go through that on yesterday. So like when I leave here, I do a whole bunch of stuff. For sure. So we'll keep working on that list and working on that list because the list is lengthy. And of course, there are people from all age groups and age brackets who have done that, some whom I don't even know. And so we certainly appreciate and value those people who make the investment in going off to school or going off just period, and then coming back and saying, I want to take my skills and abilities and bring them back to my home city or my home state. Well, particularly when we're talking about my home city at this time, and those who have went off and made whatever achievements, again, and life lessons and experiences, and came back and opened up businesses or came back and led organizations that are currently here. Kudos to those individuals who do that, because oftentimes the thought process is, let me get as far away from my hometown as possible and let me go make somewhere else great. And I get it, because then you say somebody else is saying the same thing, and then they'll come to Rocky Mount and attempt to make Rocky Mount great as well. But, you know, I hope we can kind of focus on doing even more of local people, making local things happen. In fact, I was talking to a gentleman not too long ago who is fundraising for East Carolina University, and was talking about a scholarship they have for students in the Nash County area or Rocky Mount. If you went to Nash Rocky Mount Public Schools, essentially is what it was. And of course, now we know the dynamics of that has changed. And so, you know, I asked them, I said, well, listen, I really can't make a contribution to and I told them straight up, I can't really make a contribution to it, because I can't give to anything that is going to be separatist in the city. And so if you can change your organization's policies that will allow those students who live or have a Rocky Mount zip code be eligible for the scholarship, then I have no issue being a donor to it. Again, it's for students who go to East Carolina University, who, again, the original scholarship was for students who went to Nash Rocky Mount schools. And of course, the schools on the Edgecombe County side now are not a part of Nash Rocky Mount schools. And so as of right now, I think those schools are kind of disqualified based on what happened with the demerger. And again, you know, I went to D.S. Johnson Elementary. I went to J.W. Parker Middle School. And so those schools are something that I'm familiar with, something I believe contributed to my being who I am today, and just a culture of public education at that time compared to the culture of public education today. I think we certainly have moved to a different tangent or spectrum or I don't know, level. I don't know what we got going on with what happens in public education today. It is certainly oftentimes not student centered when it comes to the administration within some districts, and of course within the state, who will dictate to schools what they should and should not do, or and also will give mandates. Mandates oftentimes come with additional costs and resources that are required, but yet don't provide those. You're saying, hey, I want you to get to point A and B. That's 300 miles away, but I'm not going to give you a mode of transportation. You figure it out. And I know it may cost you a little bit more, and I'm not going to give you any more. So I still want you to figure it out. No, basically what you're telling me to do is stay where I am. And so essentially, I think through failed and poorly written legislation from our General Assembly, from poor and written federal orders from our federal government, we have basically told schools to stay in place at the end of the day. And so hopefully we will reverse that. And again, there are some districts who have said, listen, we're going to be the most flexible we can and do some innovative things within our community, do some innovative things within our school district in a goal to make it happen. In fact, someone was telling me that Edgecombe County Public Schools got a grant to build a new, and I thought they told me a K-8 school, and it's not a K-8, it's actually a K-12. And so they, I think it's $60 million or so that they are going to be in possession with to construct a new K-12 school in Edgecombe County, thanks to some dollars to make that happen. And so I will say there are some K-12 kind of campuses, so to speak, in Raleigh. I haven't actually seen a K-12 school except for, historically older schools who were kind of that. But K-12 almost campuses, whereas you got an elementary school, then you got a middle school, and then you got a high school. I mean, they're like literally right there together. It's a middle school, a high school, and a elementary school. And so you basically have a K-12 campus, and that could be similar to what they're building in Edgecombe County. I don't know. I haven't seen any preliminary drawings. And again, I was able to see the chairman of the Edgecombe County Public Schools Board this past Saturday. And she was kind of giving me a breath of what's happening there. And of course, they're still working on their redistricting maps because remember, also with the de-annexation, not de-annexation, but the demerger, they then were required to draw new district boundaries for the electoral districts of each school board member to encompass new population that's in Rocky Mount. And so you want them to share the same level of a constituency basis. And, there's a couple of different options there. So they'll ultimately determine what they're going to do as that is happening there. So let us not forget about that as well. I want to say good morning to Irma Maxwell, James Bullock, Betty Jenkins, Lucy Boyer, Deborah Gunter, Allison Williams, Melissa Weaver. So I love it when young people leave and come back with new experience and share with their hometown. Do we know to what high school and year yesterday? This young man said, he might have said it yesterday, and I don't know. Let me see if I can even Google him. Most stuff you can just, some stuff you can Google, not everything. Let's see if I can find out what high school he went to. That's UK Athletics. That's him right there. Kentucky alum, 252. Did he say what high school is? Is he going to promote his high school on his page? It's all about football, I will tell you, on his page there. And I guess high school was so long ago for that would have been old content. But I don't recall him saying, if he did, I missed it yesterday, but good stuff for him doing that. again, when we think about the people who are in the sports arena, from Todd Gurley, who would come back and do things, Montrezl Harrell, and would come back. Of course, we talked about Mo, who's offering a number of things throughout the year, as well as his entrepreneurial spirit and having the Mo and D's restaurant. There are many positive examples, actually, in our community if we take time to really think about those situations. Okay, hold on. I thought I just saw a video talking about him, and then it went away. Hey, caller, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Bronson.
Good morning.
Did you say that Edgecombe County got a grant to build a new school?
That's right.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Now, it's not in the city limits of Rocky Mountain. It's going to be in the county. It's going to be somewhere else.
Oh, that's what I was about to say. It should go out there where the fairground is at.
Oh, no, it's not for Rocky Mountain. It's for the Edgecombe County District. I can't remember. She told me where it was. I can't remember exactly what it was.
Okay, I have another question.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the food business. What is soul food?
What is soul food? Food that commonly African Americans would cook on Sunday for their Sunday dinner. So it could be a combination of a number of things, and so it is not just germane to one thing, but the common collard greens, yams, dumplings, you name it, mac and cheese, and all that kind of stuff.
So do you consider Gardner's a soul food restaurant?
To a certain, certainly a southern restaurant, and I guess you could from what they serve. The items.
Okay, I got a problem. With it. Do you know that they're selling canned collards now? I went there Sunday. You were closed. I ate late.
Okay, I'm about to say we were open Sunday. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. 11 to 6. We there. Okay.
I got home and they had some canned collards on my plate. I was too thirsty.
Yes.
I had no idea because they used to sell fresh collards. And I'm upset. When you paying $17 for a meal, and plus you don't get a drink with it, I got a problem with it. Mm-hmm. I thought a meal come with a drink.
Ours do. At Pop's Diner.
Yeah, most places do.
Okay. I had to keep plugging Pop's Diner. That's all I'm just saying. I got you.
Yeah, but I was so upset with those canned collards. I didn't know what in the world to do. But I feel that soul food is from farm to table. It's freshly prepared. Don't you think?
I would say sure, absolutely, yeah.
Okay. I just wanted people to know, don't go there thinking you get some fresh collards anymore. I guess Trump just don't mess up everything. You get canned collards now. All those stems, I was too outdone. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's a soul food, farm-to-table restaurants in Rocky Mount, prioritizing using local source ingredients, offering directly from farms to prepare dishes that reflect on rich heritage of soul food. This approach aims to support local agriculture, ensure fresh ingredients, and offer unique dining experience that combines traditional flavors with a focus on stability. That's good stuff. Soul food, it says, this cuisine is deeply rooted in the cultural traditions of African Americans, particularly in the African American South. It characterized by a hearty home-style dishes using ingredients like greens, cornbread, and fried chicken. Benefits: farm to table soul food offers unique blend of tradition and innovation. They prioritize fresh, locally grown ingredients, often highlighting flavors and textures at the region's cuisine. This approach can lead to more flavorful meals, supported by local farmers, and promote sustainable food system. That's good stuff. And we do get some fresh things in there from sweet potatoes to collards and everything else. There. So it looks like he went to Rocky Mount High School. So I did find something about Keyshawn. I could have confirmed it here too. Let me see. So, also want to say good morning to Betty Jenkins, James Bullock, Irma Maxwell, Gloria Brake, Reginald Manning, Gwendolyn Swain, Marvin Bowden, Barbara Smith, and Vernice Harris. I said, but some people can make those canned collars. Tastes like grandma cooked them. And so Charles Robinson came back. Yeah, so Charles 7-story grew up over by the Branch Street area. And so, yes, I did confirm Keyshawn Silver did, in fact, go to Rocky Mount High School there. And so he is. Good morning also to William Manley. So there's so many, again, you talk about the Twin County Hall of Fame from a number of those people who are shown with that organization. As well. So there's a whole bunch of people. And then there, of course, then you got people who just stay in the community and just make a difference, right? Just make a difference. And so we appreciate those individuals as well who matriculated through daycare to grade school to maybe going to North Carolina Wesleyan College or our community colleges and created space like childcare facilities. There's so many people who that is a needed situation in our community. When I think about the beauticians that exist in our community, the barbers that exist in our community, how paramount our community colleges have been to help us continue to have the needed services that we are needing, and I can't say we're needed services, that we are needing consistently, even from producing CNAs and RNs and all this good stuff in the medical field, and you name it, a number of things that our local community colleges have contributed to the economic, to the educational and everything, all kind of footprints. I mean, I could probably go on to a number of adjectives to explain the contributions from our local law enforcement officers, our linemen who work in the utility department, a number of things that the community colleges have focused on over the years to ensure, one, to help drive costs down for some of those things of getting an education, that you can quickly start providing services to people. Those things are beneficial. It's all interconnected at the end of the day. Interconnected is a word that Miss Davis used. That's just interchangeable. Yeah. Good morning also to John Jordan. I did see your video the other day where you were leaving Nash Hospital. I think I liked that video. And so glad to know that you were able to get out of there after your stay there a few days or so. So thank you for tuning in to Wncr-Tv Now as we continue to talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation. And even think about people, again, William Manley, who's watching today, who's making contributions and capturing content and photos of preserving history for a number of events that happen throughout our community. Again, when you really sit back and think about just how unique Rocky Mount is, and you can say it's unique because there's no Will Manley but him, right? There's no Bronson Williams. There's no you but you. And so it is the rich culture and the input and the investment and the conversation and the work that we all contribute to make this city what it is today in its own unique experience, and what the city council has branded as the center of it all. Those are certainly things to think about as well. Even from our local elected officials, now I'm thinking about them as well, who are from Rocky Mount. Who's from Rocky Mount? Councilman Andre Knight is. I believe. Nope, Tom Harris grew up in Martin County, I think. Lige Daltrich is. Javaris Walker, TJ Walker is. And, so from that perspective, from those who serve on county commissions and whatever else going on here, homegrown folks who are investing time, effort, and energy support their time, effort, and energy to make things happen. 44 minutes past 8 o'clock hour this morning on WNCR-TV as we continue to talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation this morning. Again, thank you all for tuning in. As I always do, can't thank you enough in regards to that. And of course, there was a situation happened yesterday. Was up there in Castalia. Let me see if I can locate that. It says that a woman was shot and killed outside Nash County at a home on Lancaster Road. Tuesday, Nash County Sheriff's Office were called to the home around 1:50 p.m. where they found Miss Castro unresponsive outside. And of course, the Sheriff's Office news release said that her injuries appeared to be from a result of a shooting. And of course, through an investigation, they was able to identify Hector Moran as the man who shot along Lancaster Road. He was taken. Was the man shot? No. Deputies also identified Hector Moran, I guess, as a man also shot along Lancaster Road. He was taken to Wake Med in Raleigh for treatment and still is in critical condition. So Moran is a person of interest in his investigation, but charged with pending further investigation. And so we'll see what ultimately happens with that whole situation. And a deputy was taken to Wake Med with none life-threatening injuries and expected to be okay. Again, that was sometime around yesterday. And, oftentimes people talk about crime and things of that nature in various communities. And I tell you, there's certainly a lot of crime everywhere. And if you spend a whole lot of time involved in searching it, you will have a heightened sensitivity that there is a large amount of crime going on. Now, those who spend a lot of time doing other things naturally don't feel unsafe. Naturally, don't have a heightened sense of a situational awareness that, I'm over here, I'm about to get harmed type situation. Yeah, you do my eyes, right? It is a perception thing for sure. Does crime exist? There's no doubt about it. People will find a rock and bust out your windshield at your car lot. Oh, that was my story. It happened early Saturday for some odd reason. Speaking of that, look at the guy on camera, and it really brings you to a whole nother issue. Again, you got the North Carolina General Assembly talking about these homeless camps where these tents just pop up, become like Tent City, and eventually they'll ban them because they're second and third. Oftentimes, when government gets involved, they only try to treat symptoms. They never really have a root of the problem analyses on how to rectify whatever. And the problem oftentimes, I think, is it is a all or nothing. So the all or nothing is, okay, we can treat an all or nothing symptom because we can just make it go away. We can outlaw it. We can do and it goes away, at least for a little while. But the real work really comes in when you try to figure out what is the determinative cause that is leading and creating a higher sense of homelessness in North Carolina. In particularly in our community, especially down that 301 corridor now that is a business community. And we see the city have began to put up lights down that way as well because there's the issue of homelessness. I mean, when you look at the United Christian Ministries who do their best to help out with that population, the question still remains, what can a community do, not just a city, but what can a community do to really help stabilize some folks and really have true and authentic transitional housing? Too often, I think housing that was designed to be transitional has become lifelong housing. And that is really not the intent of some of those programs that exist. Caller, good morning.
Mr. Bronson, I'm going to ask you $1 million question. I need $1 million answer.
Okay.
And then I'm going to tell you why I asked the question. What is your perspective of Rocky Mount Police Department?
I think they're doing a pretty fantastic job with the investment City Council has made, and also their community engagement certainly has continued to grow over the years. So, yeah, I've been in and around the police department as I was an explorer when I was in the 8th grade over there at, I think it was at Parker. Whatever grade you're in 8th grade is at Parker, 6, 7, 8. I think Parker at that time was 6, 7, 8. 9th and 10th was at Edwards, and then 11, 12. Yeah, So that's right.
Okay. Well, let me tell you something. My niece has 2 little dogs, paid a lot of money for them. They had them outside in the gate Sunday. Somebody came through and stole the dog. Both of them. They were walking around trying to find the dog, so they see this man walking, so they followed the gentleman over on Marigold Street. And, of course, they noted that they had the dog. Well, they called the police, and the police came. They brought one of the dogs out. The other dog they killed and threw him in the street. And they said that they couldn't go in the house because it wasn't probable cause. If one dog came out, don't you think the other dog would sit in there also? Isn't that probable cause?
I would say so, sure.
And I've heard several people say that when they contact the police department, they pretty much does nothing.
So I can tell you, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I called Rocky Mount Police Department, the non-emergency number, and there was a dog that was gotten loose over on Vance Street, right off Midway. And I was in the area, and I saw the dog kind of causing a man who's working on the heat and air conditioner across the street issue. So I called the Rocky Mount Police Department, and I would say within 10 minutes or less, animal control was out there and had the dog in the back of the truck.
Okay, but I just found that odd for them to say that it was nothing that they could do. They could go down to the magistrate office and press charges, but as far as them, they couldn't do anything. And I was like, that's probable cause. I said, I just can't see them not going in. And when they didn't go in to rescue both dogs, they killed one. So isn't that animal cruelty also?
Well, yeah, it's talking about a legal interpretation of what's going on, but certainly dogs are considered property, so they would be in possession of stolen property, right? So it would be a larceny type charge associated with it. Then the dog was inside a gate, you said, so it seems like there would be there would be breaking and entering that was going on with the commission of actually getting the dog outside of the situation, unless somehow the dog broke free and they found him. So there'll be a whole other situation. So that would be a whole other situation going on to be sure. There was no way the dog could have got out the fence, right? So they would have the fence would have been broken.
No, they really keep up. They keep their dogs and well maintained and everything. I mean, she's paying like $1,500 for these dogs, and I'm like, this is ridiculous for a police officer to tell you that there's nothing that they could do, and they caught the people red-handed.
Oh, sure, they could have pressed charges.
Yeah.
I think charges could have been pressed in that situation. We think about Michael Vick, who went to jail for dog fights, right?
Right.
So dogs, the old cliche is that sometimes dogs have more right to life than black folks sometimes. So I don't know what happened in that situation, but absolutely, I see a couple of things just in the prima facie value of what your story was related to what I saw. There could be grounds for possible charging. But again, I think they could talk to a supervisor with the agency, and they could use as a learning lesson as to what they could have done. It's never too late to press charges if the victim in the matter wants to proceed that way. Or if the police department tell you, no, and here's why. Don't listen to Guy Bronson because he doesn't work in law enforcement. Here's what actually went on, right? So we take those as well, those people who are operating in that space.
Well, I was just amazed that it happened, and I'm so sorry. But the sad thing about it is, why take them to court? You can't get nothing from them.
You won't. You will not. So it'd just be a learning lesson for them, and that's if they learn from it. But other than that, you're absolutely correct. And that could be the persuasion of the police department why I take them to court and charge them, because you ain't gonna get nothing.
Right.
So.
All right. Thank you.
Take care. So another thing here, North Carolina lawmakers are considering a host of bills that could reshape public education in the state with legislative impacts on how many children are in classes in lower grade levels, the certification that teachers must obtain to enter classrooms, and even when school begins. House Bill 121 will eliminate restrictions on school boards that they can set their start and end date that will effectively eliminate the state's 2004 school calendar law that requires schools to start no later than Monday, closest to August 26th, and end school no later than Friday, closest to June the 11th. Some schools have exemptions from that law, mostly Western students who have a lot of snow days, as well as year-round schools for low-performing restart schools, early colleges, and charter schools. Schools have argued for a change so that schools can take end-of-the-year exams before winter break and allow students and families' calendars to align with the K-12 school and other community colleges for older students might be enrolled in, rather. So tourism-focused groups urge early starts jeopardize staffing during the busiest weeks of the year, especially in the coastal region. Now, here it is. They're saying, hey, nope, don't send those kids to school because we need to make some money with this cheap school labor. With these students. I get it. But again, you put your own cash register in line or ahead of the potential of students getting some quality education. So we'll see. Senate Leader Phil Berger of Rockingham County has long resisted change, but he has proposed a compromise legislation in Senate Bill 754. It will allow schools to start the year on Monday, closer to August 19th, 1 week earlier, under two conditions. The fall and spring semesters have to be the exact same number of school days, and the school year ends by Friday before Memorial Day, 2 weeks earlier than the current law. Some educators have said they were glad for the compromise on the table, but others said they were concerned very few schools could take advantage of the option to start earlier because constraints around required holidays and condensing of schools week by week. So, and that's certainly true. And then you got the classroom size. We'll talk more about those as well. Hopefully we will do that. So House Bill 56 would require local school boards to publish detailed explanations on what each school's central office position is and how much employees are being paid. The bill speaks to a common talking point among some parents, including Moms for Liberty, that school systems have too many administrators and central office workers. By contrast, school systems such as Wake County contends to have far too few central office workers. So that's interesting. There are a lot of people say, you got a bloated central office where you can have those people in the schools making a difference, and I oftentimes kind of share those sentiments there. So I don't know what happened with Bill 56, but the transparent central. But again, I think school boards can be transparent with their central office, how much they're paying this and doing that and what they're doing. And the school board still can say, we're going to trust the advisement and consent of our superintendent. Or you could have a school board to say, nope, superintendent, you're going to have to cut your central office staff and we want to use those positions, if we can, use those positions in the school, because remember we talked about how schools have restricted and unrestricted funds, how they can be spent, and so everything may look like one thing and in actuality is a whole different thing. And so anyway, my time is up. Good morning, Alice Bailey. Thank you for tuning in to WNCR-TV Now. I will see you tomorrow sometime or another to do it all over again on WNCR-TV Now as we talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation, and make it a great and fantastic Wednesday. And don't forget, Pop's Diner opens today from 11 till 6. We will have whiting. So we're having a whiting Wednesday. So we're serving whiting fish today. People call in about fish all the time. And so we said, why not do some whiting on Wednesday? So we do have fish today at Pop's from 11 until 6 p.m. downtown Rocky Mountain. I mean, it includes fish sandwiches for those people who like fish sandwiches too. We'll see you all over again tomorrow. Make it a great, fantastic last day of April, which is April the 30th.